You're going to have a lot of practice today with using that method to fill electrons into different atoms. You may be wondering, why did we know this, or how did we figure this out? First thing is that people began running experiments, and there was evidence that showed us that, like, the 4s filled before the 3d, or that degenerate orbitals fill singly before pairing. So we have this experimental evidence, but then people also began making theoretical calculations, and when those two things were in sync with each other, that's when they began designing this method of how the electrons fill the atoms. Again, electrons are represented with either half up or full up and down arrows. We have three principles that guide how electrons fill the atom. The first principle is Aufbau, and what he said was something we've been alluding to this whole time. You fill the first energy level and you fill the S's first. Those are lower energy, they have no nodes. Then you fill the second energy level and you fill the S's, and then the P's, and then the D's, and then the third energy level. So it has to do with, you should start with the first level and then get into the second, and then the third and the fourth. Don't start at the second level, meaning you've got electrons out here but nothing in the middle. You need the electrons in the middle first. That's the Aufbau principle. It's kind of like the principle of any house, or I used to think of the B in there being building. So when you're building an atom, you build it from the ground up. Then there's the Polyexclusion Principle. And what Pauli says is that you can't have an electron in the same orbital that's the same direction, as long as if it's unexcited. Like atoms just sitting there. You can't have an up arrow and a second up arrow. They have to be opposites. First thing you can think about is it has to do with the spin, and electrons, it's really hard to explain it, but electrons have this spin. They're a spinning, not only are they moving the atom, but they themselves are a spinning charge. And if you are a spinning charge, you make a magnetic field. So they have to align so their magnetic fields aren't fighting against each other. So they have to align, spin up and spin down is what it's called. If you go back to the video, in this last video, if you want to understand more about electron spin, it is not necessary, but that's the video you would watch. The third principle is that Hund's rule. This is often called the bus rule, but if you get on a bus, you are more likely to fill an empty seat before pairing up with someone. So the electrons will will fill like this. They won't fill like that. And they won't fill where everyone's like up. They won't do that either. They fill singly before they fill with pairs. And part of the reason is there's some repulsion and there's that spin issue. You have to make sure that one spin, it falls opposite. So to get this second electron in here, again, repulsion, spin has to be correct. It's just a little bit more energy, and it's much easier for the electron just to go ahead and sit in a different seat, and that's what they do. So those are the three principles when you're drawing and when you're filling.